All right, we're back. It's Monday. How you doing, everybody? We are in the building, and it's one of those days where we come on these shows, and I've had a few of these in my career.
I was thinking about that on my way in. Like, it's been a few shows where I was like, ugh.
Yeah, and there will be more as long as we're
Yeah,
doing this stuff.
today's definitely one of them.
It is definitely one of them. If you're watching this thing live, it is Monday. It is the 7th of July. Rudy and I did not do a show Friday because it was July the 4th. And so this is 3 days out here in between podcasts. So welcome into the Monday edition. It's in the building. It's show number 358 from the Texas Cheer Liquor Studios at Pub Sports Radio in Southtown, where we always do our show. The audio disseminator is Jose Bouquet, and away we go. It's honestly, and for those most of y'all that watch our show are in Texas. The vast majority of you are in San Antonio or in the Austin area. And then we matriculate toward Houston and got a few in Dallas. And weirdly enough, we got a decent following in San Francisco.
I'll take it.
Although our Salt Lake City audience is gone. I think it's all
Too
that
much.
Ace Bailey to the Jazz talk. I think we ran them off. We had people in Salt Lake City that all of a sudden disappeared.
And the vulgarity.
Oh, maybe so. And yeah, the open discussions of smoking pot
And running Bookie's cheeks. Yeah, that
and all of the caffeine that I drink, because you're not allowed to drink caffeine in Utah either. Just saying.
really.
No, caffeine is not allowed in the Mormon faith at all. But I don't know. It's hard to even know what to talk about today to begin. And it's one of those shows where it's like, I guess we should just come on here and we just need to hear ourselves talk and see where it goes. And
Yeah.
it's just been, I was thinking about this last night from a historical perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and it led me down a rabbit hole of reading about floods in Texas,
Okay.
because this is, and as the Kirk County judge put it the other day, this is the most dangerous river valley in the country. And he's right. Texas floods. This part of the state floods. We're on the Balcones Escarpment. We got lots of hills, basically
We
underneath
sit in
our
bowl.
earth.
We sit in a bowl, so it's tough
Correct.
for it to escape.
Right. And then a lot of the land is almost like teepee shaped, like rows of
Right.
teepees underneath this. We're basically built on inside a massive quarry.
Right.
And we have had lots of floods in our history. But what our area, and not just Kirk County and Kerrville and Hunt, but like even up like past where I used to live. I used to have remember when I was Lake House Mike? I got a lot of crap for that. We owned a lake house in a little town called Point Venture, which is right on Ladybird. It's right on the Colorado on Lake Travis. That area had to get evacuated. Marble Falls had real bad weather. Burnett had a lot of real bad weather.
I want to say San Angelo and Georgetown.
I think
too.
so too. Georgetown. Every time I drive back to Fort Worth to see my family, I always go 281 because it's a lot prettier, and I love the hill country.
Less traffic.
And I don't want nothing to do with 35. So I always go up 281. So all over the all these years of me being a South Texan and going back to Fort Worth a couple of times a year, I've fallen in love with the hill country, and stopping off in, small cafes and coffee shops in little towns like Blanco and Marble Falls and Burnett, and never Hyco. I get gas in Hyco. I take a dump in Hyco, but I don't want to spend too much money in Hyco because they have a dubious racism history.
Right.
but the hill country going up and the Hyco's way the hill up in North Texas anyway. But from here until about probably Burnett, what is it? Oh gosh, what is after Burnett? Y'all will help me out.
I don't go that way.
Doesn't matter. Once you get north of Burnett, now you're no longer in the hill country. Now you're kind of getting into those flat plains of North Texas once you get through there. And so I just love the hill country. It doesn't matter if I was from Spain, this would be heart tugging, but this happened in our area. This happened in our neighborhood. And
our community, our people, yeah.
And I don't even know. I mean,
yeah,
it's weird when
you don't know what to say. Right,
there's no one to hate. I mean, I can't blame a mass shooter.
Right.
I can't blame a piss poor person that made a terrible decision. how I feel about water. I love the ocean. I love lakes and I love
But
rivers,
it's dangerous.
and it's very, very dangerous. And as I tell my twins, they live in Hawaii. It's a lot different kind of water, but they go into the ocean 4 days a week.
The ocean and rivers and stuff have the
Yep.
power to show you that they're the ocean
Yeah,
and they're the
and
river.
weirdly enough, it's one of the reasons why I think I love water so much, because I have such a great respect for it.
Same.
And as a little kid, we moved down to Rockport when I was 5, and that's the first time I ever saw the ocean, the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of America, depending on whatever you want to call it. Rockport Bay there, and Mustang Island, Aransas Pass, all that area there along the Corpus Christi Rockport corridor is where I fell in love with the ocean. And some of my fondest memories as a kid, some of my fondest memories with my own kids have been camping, and going to lakes and going to rivers. And some of my fondest memories are camping in Garner State Park, camping up at Possum Kingdom Lake. When I was a kid in Fort Worth, we'd always go out to Possum Kingdom Lake, and we'd set up right there on the riverbank. And that's where I learned to fish. It's where I learned to crab. It's where I learned to find crawdaddies, all this kind of thing. I love the water, and I am immensely, profoundly sad today.
Same.
And I'm just talking here.
No,
cut in anytime.
no.
I don't even know what to
listening.
say. I'm just rambling.
No, you're good. I'm just letting you roll.
Yeah, so it's just like I have not. I'm obviously aware of headlines and some of a lot of the information, but like I have not done any deep dives. Like Nina has sent me a couple. Nina's helping me keep up with this, because I found myself like ignoring it a lot over the weekend because I have a show to do on Monday. I've been dreading this show.
Same.
I
texted y'all the other day. I was like, I don't even know, where we start, what we do,
I know.
what you say.
I don't feel
how you
worthy.
Supposed to act.
I don't feel worthy to put words
on
it.
Yeah,
insignificant. Absolutely. And on purpose, I have not done deep dives into reading about victims or families or the situations, the scenarios, because I have to be able to get through my job. And as we come on here today, I just want us to talk, and Rudy sent us all a text over the weekend, that we need to do something. We do have this little public outlet we have, and I agree we should. You got that Slackers flyer ready to roll, Bouquet? We'll make that our first live spot. So Friday, Rudy and I have been planning to go out to Slackers over on Nacogdoches Road. One of the 5 locations, the official sports bar in the building, Slackers. And the Nacogdoches location on Friday is where Rudy and I are going to be to celebrate his birthday. And we're going to celebrate Rudy's birthday, but this has turned into now a flood relief drive. It's on all 5 of the locations, by the way: Med Center, St. Mary's, 281 in Rector, 281,000 Oaks, and the Nacogdoches location all week long are collecting stuff for whoever needs it. And I think that if you're planning on maybe coming out and hanging out with Rudy and I at Slackers on Nacogdoches on Friday, if you would like to bring something, that'd be great. So they're looking for insect repellent, which makes a lot of sense, toothbrushes, toothpaste, bar soap, body wash, shampoo and conditioner, travel size is fine, deodorant, feminine hygiene products, wet wipes, hand sanitizers, hair ties, brush.
And I'm almost
combs.
positive. I'm almost positive Frank and the guys are gonna get it to the people that need it, because depending on what you've read over the weekend, some of the stuff gets overwhelming for the volunteers because you get so much of it. So I'm I'm not hopeful. I'm pretty sure Frank and them know which outlets to get these things to where they can be of use and not overwhelming to the people that are out there volunteering. So yeah, come out Friday, man, and bring something. Or not bring anything, whatever,
It's okay.
Whatever the case may be. But there's plenty of places where you can, donate money or whatever the case may be. Just do your research on where you're sending your stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Right.
Especially your money.
Right. Not just because you're worried about it winding up in the wrong hands. you want to make sure that it's actually helpful.
Helpful. There you go.
You know, Rudy mentioned we should do something, and he's 100% right. And I got to like thinking about it. Okay, what can we do as a show, as a podcast family, as Thunderdome, as in the building, whatever you want to call us? What can we do as a group that is kind of ours? Because I think that's probably better than just throw money at the Red Cross or Salvation Army. Because even the Kerrville Police Department, they posted on their Facebook page this week, we don't need anything. We're okay. We've got what we need for now.
Right.
Do not come to Kerrville unless you live here. And even if you live in Kerrville, don't come down to the river. Let these people do their jobs. Let us fix this. I don't know what the word is. Let us recover and start cleaning up.
Right.
We don't really need anything. And so I think that's true. So a lot of times when these horrible things go on, we as humans, we just want to do something.
You want to do something. You don't know what, but you just feel like you have to.
And a lot of times it winds up, it doesn't. We want to be, I guess, smart about what we do. Yeah, we want it to actually benefit.
Right.
And long after this cleanup is over, the city of Kerrville, I mean, why not do something? I mean, shit, I feel like driving. If I'm probably in a month, we ought to go up. I ought to go have burgers in Kerrville. Just spend money in the town.
Right.
Eat stuff like that,
I think, keeping it here where we do, the Spurs quietly, no social media, no cameras, have continued to go to Uvalde.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, initially, because it is what it is. We're human, and everybody's life goes on, and no matter how awful that sounds, but it just goes away after, a couple of weeks in your mind. But there, again, in any human life, this sucks, Mike, but when we talk about people's babies, it hits you a little bit different. So this is a long recovery, not only, aesthetically, but mentally, you know what I mean? So yeah, you're right. You probably should, do what you can later on, other than, just the initial couple of weeks when it's all at the front of our minds and every news station, every social media post is about it. But you're right. Like, a couple months from now, go spend some money in the town.
Yeah.
Help rebuild it that way. So yeah, you're definitely right about that.
And what is unique about this situation with the floods, because there's a bunch of camps that mostly got affected.
Sucks.
These were not, while it happened in Kerrville and Hunt, which are neighboring towns, it didn't involve a lot of Kerrville residents. These were campers from outside the area, kids from Dallas and Houston, all up and down the state. Dude. So you got every major city in this state and many other little towns in this state that are all heartbroken. So it's not even just a Kerrville situation.
Right. Good point.
Texas got devastated this week. And and that's part of the reason why I think that I just didn't really go down a whole lot of rabbit holes on information.
Most of mine was headlines too.
Wouldn't have been able to get through this show today. You know, I've read some, so we do want to do something, but it needed to be the right thing and something intimate, exclusive to us and beneficial. Right. So it's like, Slackers is our buddy, and they're doing a collection drive all week long. Just necessities. And so let's just piggyback off that, see if we can't get some of our folks to bring necessities like we mentioned on that list. Can you send me that flyer? Do I have it? Did you text it to us? Okay, cool. I have it. I'd like to share it today. So, yeah. So there's that.
It's been on, like you said, Mike. We've been doing this a long time. So I think the two times where 2012, December 2012, Calvin had to talk me into doing the show after Sandy Hook. And then again, it's probably been 10, but the two that come to mind, and this one being the third, what happened, because it's right down the street, is I had to do the Uvalde show by myself. Rob was off.
Oh, man.
And I did not want to be there.
Yeah.
I did not want to be there. But not because I don't want to do my job, just because I feel like, who the hell is Rudy J? Why would we care about what Rudy J has to say when people have lost their babies or their animal or their father or their uncle? You know what I mean? Like, who gives a crap what I think about USA versus Mexico? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And people, and I know a lot of times we say, well, we need the diversion, but do we? Do we need the diversion? Or do we need? I mean,
Some, yeah,
at some point, because you got to at some point that's really out of our hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of times we use that as a crutch.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, we need a diversion. I don't know. I don't know if we do
Yeah,
sometimes
but our people do. They go to us every day,
for that.
hell or high water,
Yeah, they do.
rain or shine,
Right.
and that's what I've learned over the years. That we got people that tune in. They want to know what we're doing. One of the reasons our show is successful is because we pull back the curtain.
No, you're
and
right.
We talk about everything.
That's why we came.
And we talk, and that's why we came. It seems goofy, but honestly, for no other reason, like David Letterman said after 9/11, I didn't want to do the show tonight either, but I just needed to hear myself talk, I guess. And I guess that's it, because it'd been like 2 or 3 weeks after they hadn't done any after 9/11. They didn't do any talk shows, nothing. Everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, what was the guy we talked about Thursday? Didn't his soccer team? Didn't they just play a game like right after they buried him?
Liverpool, the guy.
Didn't
but a bunch of the guys on the team are playing all over the world in club leagues.
Yeah.
Like the guy, the guy that scored for Mexico last night played with Jota for 2 years.
You see what I'm saying?
Jimenez, I think his name is.
Like,
he still got to go.
I know.
I mean, I had to get up, take a shower. I had to have a job. I'm still going to watch TV. I watched soccer last night and I enjoyed it. And it's okay to divert. It's fine. It's okay. You have to do that.
Yeah,
we have to process it in our own way.
Yeah, I get caught up in that. Like even like, I'm big on our socials as far as like our sponsors and making sure I stay active. But the past couple of days, I was gun shy about my socials. Like, if it ain't about the flood shit, who gives a shit? That's where I was. You know what I mean? Like, damn.
Yeah.
And it's a weird place to be.
I didn't post all weekend.
You see what I'm saying? I didn't know where I don't know how to be.
Yeah.
Because again, these people, they got years of mourning to do. Years. And I'm just like, what I think about XYZ, does that matter today?
And Nina would tell you yes. She told me yes, I've had shows in the past where I didn't want to do them. Sutherland Springs, Uvalde, when my ex-intern Jesse got murdered.
Oh, God.
In Denver in a mass shooting.
I remember me and Calvin had to come on before you that day.
Yeah, I've had to do 3 mass shooting shows. There will be more. This one's just so weird because there's no one to blame. There's just it's nature. And that is a beautiful river, and it has been there for a million years. And the people that founded the town of Kerrville did so because it's on a river and it gives life. Back in the day when towns were being formed, you formed them on water because water gives life. That's how you have a town. And I don't know if y'all been to Kerrville recently, but I
haven't been recently.
It's one of the cutest, coolest little hill country towns we have, built right along a river. Beautiful little bridges that go over that river that connect it.
It is beautiful. It's a beautiful ride. When I was doing the slingshot rides with Alamo Cycleplex, and you just ride through the hill country.
I love it.
In the morning.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Growing up in Fort Worth, we would go to San Antonio for vacations. A couple of times I went to a couple of UT games in Austin.
Yeah.
But I never really explored the hill country at all until I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in the Metro 6.
Me too.
And just didn't, if we came to South Texas, it was to go to SeaWorld, or to go to a UT game.
I was here and didn't go till my 30s. So,
yeah. And once I started going to the hill country and seeing how beautiful it is, because my ex-mother-in-law, she used to live out on Canyon Lake. And we'd take the back roads to get to her house. And it was just like, wow, this is beautiful. I didn't go to Natural Bridge Caverns until I was in my late 30s. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is right down the road from our house. This is incredible. So, we have a lot of people that watch our show, and I had a lot of people over the years that listen to it in the hill country. The great Robert Earl King, who's a follower of mine on Twitter, who's been on our radio show twice, lives right there, right up the street, up north of Blanco. And it's just I don't know. Again, we're just talking today.
Yeah.
We're just talking. It's in the building. If you'd like to donate to us, we certainly would love that. We appreciate that. You can donate via the Super Chat. You can also buy us coffees if you want to. Bouquet will load the link to the buymeacoffee.com link. If you'd like to become a member of this program, you certainly may do that. Memberships are only $4.99 a month for the Tier 1 membership. And you can subscribe to the channel for absolutely free. Love You Hard TV is the name of our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. It's absolutely free. And shout out to our other partners. Subscribe to them as well. Also free. Pub Sports Radio on YouTube and Anthem TV, the television app that runs our show each and every day, too. Show also presented in part by Executive Armoring. Rudy and I have talked about Executive Armoring here the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. These guys protect cars. A lot of people need their cars protected. A lot of people want bulletproof glass in cars, high-end clients, or just regular dudes, politicians, SWAT units, military vehicles. A lot of times we'll go to Executive Armoring and have their stuff done. It is Executive Armoring, the official armored car / bulletproof glass provider. And they'll also do your commercial business too, by the way.
Yeah, I know they were talking to AD about doing a couple of his doors at Texas Cheer Liquor.
Yeah. How many liquor stores or gas stations you ever gone to? There's a bullet hole in the window.
I know.
Half of them in town.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need that. So Executive Armoring will help with that. Call Leroy, 210-716-4606. You can email them at info.armoring@gmail.com. It's info.armoring@gmail.com. Sports world, of course, has been affected. I saw, right up the street we live near Trinity University. Nina's son is a graduate of Trinity. Their offensive coordinator, Wade Lytle, his daughter was lost at Camp Mystic. Offensive coordinator, yes, sir. Trinity's OC's little young daughter, she was under 10, I believe, passed. I was thinking about Trinity. You know how hard small college program coaches have to work?
Oh, gosh.
Small budgets, private school, not a lot of scholarships, no NIL money. The work and the time. And not to take away from, Steve Sarkisian's busy too. He's busy too. It's a different kind of busy.
For sure.
It's a different busy. When you're an assistant coach in a place like Trinity, hell, it wouldn't surprise me to find out he's washing socks and jocks.
Right. Oh,
they're having to pick up their own equipment.
For sure.
Load their own gear into the field house.
Absolutely.
And just the work that you put in and the extra additional time away from your family that is required to be successful at a small college program like Trinity.
A lot less pay, too.
A lot less pay. And then to find out that, Wade Lytle lost his daughter, it's just numbing, Numbing. And we live 5 minutes from that campus. The Kerrville Tivy soccer coach lost his life, along with his wife and both of their kids. This is the reason why I just can't I haven't been able to deep dive into too many details, man, because I got to get through this show. And then the NFL's been affected. A little girl named Janie Hunt.
Janie Hunt, yeah.
9 years old. Janie Hunt is related to the Hunt family that owns the Kansas City Chiefs. So she's from Dallas. So one of the little kids that passed that was in Camp Mystic, she's the great-granddaughter of Bill Hunt. Bill and Lamar Hunt founded the oil company that made them billionaires.
Okay.
And Lamar is the one that got into sports when they started making lots of money. He's the one who founded the Dallas Texans, who then became the Kansas City Chiefs.
Gotcha.
Lamar's son is Clark, who's now the owner of the Chiefs.
Right. Okay. I saw his father. Okay.
So Lamar, Lamar's name is on the AFC Championship trophy. They give the Lamar Hunt Trophy. So Lamar founded his company with Bill, his brother. The little girl that passed is related to Bill.
Okay.
So she's a distant cousin of Clark Hunt, the Chiefs owner. So NFL, Trinity University, Kerrville, Tivy High School, sports at all levels.
Tivy, that's
affected by this.
School.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel went to Tivy. Yeah, man.
Exactly.
That's it. We're just talking.
Yeah,
we're just talking. Thanks to those that have donated money already. Go back up, Boogie. We'll read a couple. Appreciate that. What's up, Isaac? Isaac the third, $20 is in the building. Good morning, fellas. My heart goes out to all the families dealing with this difficult situation in Kerrville. Sending many prayers and positive energy as I can. That's all we really can do is get through it and just try to create positive energy to combat all this awfulness that's in our air. Yeah. Aaron, what's up, man? 1999, heart, love to the hill country and all those campers. Prayers to the lost and those still missing.
So much damn rain this summer.
It's insane. It's crazy. I mentioned that how much I love water. And my childhood memory, I camped a lot as a kid. And can't wait to go camping again on a river because it's what I love to do, and I will never stop doing that. It's be crazy to do that. Water has been healing for me a lot of my life. It's crazy, right? I swear to you.
I know what you mean.
One of the things I tell people about living in Hawaii, I swear that ocean has healing powers. It does.
Maybe it does.
If you're feeling crappy, maybe money's tight, I don't know, Cowboys got their ass kicked, whatever it is,
yeah.
You go jump in that ocean out there. This is me anyway. Not everybody loves the ocean, and you're cured. There's just something in the chemicals and the salt, something that huge, something that dangerous. Honestly, that adds to it.
It is dangerous.
Something like that. You come out of that ocean and you're healed. And rivers are the same. My aunt. On May 22nd, 1987, the same year as the other flood in Kerrville that killed the kids on the school bus, I lost my aunt to a drug overdose.
Right.
She was 27 years old. I was 13, and they picked me up from school and told me what had happened in the car ride on the way home, and they didn't want me around that mess. Because just 23-year-old girl just died, and
it's weird for you.
And I live with my grandmother, and she just lost her daughter that day.
Right.
So all the families over there, you know how it is. Everyone comes over, and their phone won't stop ringing. It's devastation, and everyone's crying and just numb. And so, like, as the day wore on, my grandmother told one of her brothers, my great uncle,
right,
go take Michael Anthony. That's what they called me. Take Michael Anthony and go do something with him. Because I'm just sitting there, I'm a kid, I don't know what to do.
Right.
13-year-old. My great uncle took me fishing on Benbrook Lake in Fort Worth, Texas. I caught 19 freshwater bass that day. Little, not them big old big mouth. Little bass. And they kept that was my nickname. One of my nickname was what was it? I was Bass instead of Mike, or I was Bass like for the next 3 weeks. My uncles called me Bass.
Caught all them fish.
Yeah, and so I had this terrible situation where I lost my aunt this tragic way, and it was the healing power of Benbrook Lake that got me away from that situation and made me feel better. At least made me not have to think about it for a little while I went fishing with my uncle and his crazy buddy, and they drank about 39 beers apiece.
Easy.
Let me do all the fishing, and I was reeling them in. I don't know. We found up. It's like the universe just sent,
every now and then you find a sweet spot with fishing. Every now and then, once in a blue moon.
Yeah, man.
It's not often.
Like, it's so weird, and I've preached to my kids over and over and over. They went camping 2 weeks ago. Right when school was over, at a kids camp with just kids and counselors who were all like 22, 23-year-old kids themselves. And I run through the safeties, run through, how to protect yourself, protect each other, be careful with the water, don't get stupid, don't let kids talk you into craziness, mind the weather, if it gets cloudy or you see, there's wind, mind that. I don't ever want my kids to be afraid of camping and the outdoors. God knows it's one of the problems we have. I think more and more and more. What do we bitch about? Our kids are on the phone all day. Kid stays inside all day.
Yeah.
Kids are out of shape. I grew up, thank God, I had family members that, I got thrown outside. Get your ass outside. I don't want to see. I don't want to see you till sundown.
Whole house full of cousins. Get out. Everybody get out.
I don't want to see you back here till the street light comes on. I had the same rules. If you're going to come back, it better be to take a pee or to grab a snack. Otherwise, you need to play in the summertime. I was outside, and I liked water and lakes and streams and anything water, man. all about.
I'm
So.
not a water person, but I was never a river person, but my in-laws are.
Oh
My
yeah,
wife's brothers, they're
camping.
big. Like, hey man, we're going to the river. We're going to the river. We're going to the river. So I've become that over the
Yeah.
last 20-something years,
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy the scene and the relaxation. They even got me to camp, which
You slept in a tent. Rudy J
yeah.
slept in a tent all night long.
Yeah, man, that was hearing them damn raccoons all night sucked.
A little shuffling around.
Camping kind of sucks, but I did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get crap now from people in my family because I'm a glamper now.
Yeah,
I'm
give me
50
now.
years
You
old.
give me a
15.
wooden cabin with
Yeah.
a bathroom and stuff. I'll be there all night. But that tent, that ground is
Yeah,
hard.
and I catch hell from them. I'm like, I don't
I
care.
got to put the
Make
tent
fun of
up.
me.
I got to take the
I
tent
ain't sleeping
down.
in no tent.
Oh.
I've been known to drive up into the woods, spend all day with people, hunting, fishing, trapping, playing horseshoes, playing, hiking, doing all the things you do when you go camping. And then, everybody's going to bed, get in my car and drive back to the city.
Yeah.
And I would catch so much shit.
Yeah, hey, man.
Dude, are you seriously not going to stay? No, going to my bed. What are you talking about?
I'm not staying either. I did it like twice.
I ain't 15.
I've experienced it. I've had enough.
Yeah, our spring break tradition, all 4 years I was in high school. Freshman year, sophomore year, I didn't have a car, but I had buddies that had cars. And then once I got my car my junior year, we carried on through the tradition. Or we'd go with my buddy's dad who would drive.
Yeah.
We camped every spring break when I was in high school. Every single spring break. We spent 5 days sleeping in a tent.
Absolutely not.
At Possum Kingdom Lake up in the plains, up between Fort Worth and Abilene. And had a lot of good times. Ran into armadillos, got skunked one year.
No.
Met a couple of young women from Dalhart one night. Had 2-3 days with them. Shout out to the girls from Dalhart. I love, Mike Chequet's giving me shit. Taylor's Bear Grylls. I love Bear Grylls. I love that show. I love survival shows. I love nature shows. It's funny. Like, I don't watch cooking shows, but I love that show. What's that real famous one? The real mean one, always cussing people out.
Oh, I know. I forget.
White boy from England, got the blonde, spiky.
Gordon
Ramsay. So I don't watch.
He's an ass.
I don't watch any cooking shows, but I love the show he does where he travels around the world and he goes to these remote places and he literally goes out with the locals that do cooks local food. He'll go with them to go get the food because it's all natural. They got to climb trees and pull the berries off. They got to go dive in the lakes and
that's cool.
Spear the actual fish they're going to eat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they got to go get bug larvae out of the rocks and shit so they could cook local food. I love that because he's doing it outdoors.
Right.
I got a bad shoulder right now. One of the reasons I missed that dunk at the Final Four is I got a bad shoulder. If it weren't for the bad shoulder, I'd have nailed it. Right? I'd have nailed it. If it weren't for that bad shoulder. Oh, see, with this right here, I'd have nailed this, but I got a bad left shoulder. See, right there is while the pressure hits my left shoulder.
It wasn't the elevation. It was the shoulder.
It had nothing to do with the gut. It was my shoulder, my bad shoulder. Or the fact I'm in effing jeans trying to do a 360.
You were in jeans.
And so I got the bad shoulder, and I got that paddling in a canal in Hawaii because I was in a one-man paddle.
You probably have a torn rotator cuff that you've never got.
It's hurt
fixed
for 3 years now.
Yeah, it's torn, bro.
I hoolied. I hoolied. I flipped.
You were supposed to get that fixed before you quit iHeart.
I was, and I never did it. I screwed that up.
You were supposed to do that while we had insurance,
so it's a lot better. I think it's just calcified now. Yeah. It's a lot better.
It's just scar tissue now.
Yeah, so I don't have any range of motion anymore without pain. But I wouldn't trade it because I did it paddling in the ocean. I was in a canal, and I flipped completely upside down in the ocean with a boat on me. I had to crawl out and use the boat to pull myself back up and then flip the boat back over and get on the...
This is what we call the segment, white people shit. Because I will never be in that situation where I'm up. Do you know I would have a heart attack if I was in a freaking paddle boat and it flipped upside down on me. I wouldn't die from drowning. I can swim.
Mm-hmm.
I would die from a heart attack by, oh my God, I'm upside down with a boat on top of me, and I got to crawl out and come up. I die. I die. Yeah.
Well, I had a great time right up until I ripped my shoulder
Yeah.
apart. It's like, yeah, I think you're right. It's just calcified over.
Yeah, it's scar tissue now,
Yeah,
bro.
it's just like hardened up.
Mhm.
So, but I wouldn't change a thing, and I'll
Right.
always continue to go outside. Nina and I was supposed
You
to
were hiking
call
yesterday,
Rudy
right?
yesterday and talk about show stuff, but I was too busy hiking. By the time I got home, I was tired. So,
How far y'all hike? 3, 4 miles, 5 miles?
well, the weather finally let up. Well, no, probably just a couple miles. And we had a break in the rain to go. It was just a walk, really.
Yeah.
It's more of a walk than an actual hike. All right, it is in the building. We're just talking to hear ourselves talk today, as we just kind of all sit here and pray for people that have been affected, directly by the floods in this state. I think President Trump's supposed to come in here on Friday.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. He was saying that he was going to wait a few days because he didn't want to get in the way.
Yeah, no, that's
Which I respect.
Exactly what the Kerrville, was it PD? They were saying,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, we don't. Obviously, if the president wants to come in, they're going to let him. But he just wanted to give them a good week to just
that makes sense.
make some ground up in recovery. Show brought to you in part by Texas Cheer Liquor. We drink when we're happy. We drink when we're sad.
Liquor knows no stoppage.
I poured a little bit more wine last night in my glass than usual, just because I just felt like I wanted to get a little tipsy.
Absolutely.
And of course, this wine I bought at Texas Cheer Liquor, one of the 7 locations from I-90 all the way up to Bernie. 7 locations in the greater SA area. It is Texas Cheer Liquor. I do drink cocktails on occasion, but I never make them at home. If I get a cocktail, it's if we're in a restaurant, I'm at a party or something. But I never knew they made this till I started working there a couple of years ago.
What's that?
Absolute makes ready-made cocktails. Just pour it out. And I thought, that can't be very good.
Yeah, they call them RTDs, ready to drink.
There you go. But then I had one. I'm like, this tastes like anything you get in a bar.
RTDs on the rocks that they sell makes a really good RTD. They make an old-fashioned. And I don't really like pre-made old-fashioned other than the Bullet and the on the rocks.
Yeah, but they're good.
They're good.
They've
on the rocks is
good.
solid. Yeah,
they probably didn't start off
stuff,
right. Yeah,
sure.
Absolute makes them as well. They got a great Cosmo.
They do have the Cosmo.
Yes,
the Cosmo, the Blue Hawaiian, Strawberry Daiquiri, the Pineapple Jalapeno, something like that. Yeah.
Or just Bear.
And
whatever it is you buy, how much ever you get, no matter how much, mention in the building at any of the 7 area Texas Cheer Liquors, and they will give you $5
popping at number 1.
Awesome.
A lot of in the building.
Very
guys
good.
Coming through. Appreciate y'all.
Very good. All right. It's a weird day. I need momentary just breaks in the action. Get that video I sent you. All right. So this is Nina taking our dogs out this morning at 5:45 in the morning, and my shoes were wet from hiking, so I left them outside.
Where are your hiking boots at, sir?
We were in hike in the woods.
Okay. Gotcha.
It was a street hike, so I wore New Balance. Look at this. Focus on that shoe. Bonk. See that?
I see it. What they got?
That is a frog inside my shoe.
Why did he jump? That's a pretty good leap for him.
A frog crawled in my shoe, and apparently there's one in the other shoe too.
There's 2?
There, I got 2. There's one in each.
Were they there this morning when you left?
Yep. To come here, they were still there. Because they're nocturnal.
Oh, gotcha.
And he's looking for a place to crash all day long, and they decided to crash inside my shoes. And so, because I know that he probably wouldn't live long if I made him get out now during the day, I'm gonna let him sit there all day and do what he has to do. He's using my shoe as cover.
Are you throwing those away?
No, God no.
But he took a piss.
I'm an outdoorsman. Yeah, he probably shitting it too, Rudy. Probably going to have a cockroach or 2 while he's in there. I'm going to wash the shoes.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
I would have liked the piss and shit shoe there. I would have liked that.
Look at that little dude.
By the way, I was going through the archives. I found this guy again, and I was pleasantly surprised I found this guy again.
That's Dancing Mike.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Look at this guy just getting it.
The only thing I see in that video is some great calves.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like, damn, because I work on my calves and they will not look like that. I'm like, damn, Mike,
That's natural.
we got some calf genetics in the Taylor family.
Hey, years of being outside,
Yeah, that's true too.
years of hiking, years of swimming, years
Yeah.
of jump roping, years of doing shit, running around.
So you got to name the frog.
Well, there's 2 frogs, and you're right.
Oh,
I'm gonna
you gotta
send you
name
another picture. There's an update, by the way.
Oh, it is?
The other frog has come out to show himself. Stand by. You do some talking. I'm gonna send this. We'll send this in. All right.
I'm very excited to see.
Don't
this
see when I was a kid, our parents always told us, don't mess with the frog, they give you warts.
That's what I've heard as well.
Nah, that might piss on you, but they're not gonna give you. Now, some of them are poison. Not these. These
Not
are just
these.
little.
No,
these
no,
are little.
yeah. Now
these
you're in the
little tree
Amazon
frogs.
and you see a yellow and black frog, run. But
Right.
these are just little frogs, that are little water frogs. They ain't gonna hurt nobody.
No, and there's a dead cockroach there near one of my shoes. I wonder if the frog
Hopefully
did
he eats
that.
them.
Well, yeah, he probably zapped it, and he's probably going to go back and
Zapped
eat it
it?
later. I don't know what did frogs do to insects? They
They
zap
just-
them.
No, they just lick them and eat them.
Yeah. There you go. That
Oh,
just
look,
got
he's
sent
coming
to me.
out.
Update. That's the other frog.
Oh yeah, because that's the other shoe.
Yeah. So he has come out to
I
play.
wonder if they
and
made it in
hang.
your shoe.
He probably did.
They're making more frogs. They found a little home.
That
There's
is
tadpoles
great.
all up in his shoe now.
Oh man, look at that, man.
Well, I hope that's good dinner for him.
Mark Sweet Hookup says one I should name Gordon and the other I should name Ramsey. That's a great idea.
I'm down.
That's a great idea.
That's it.
Gordon and Ramsey.
Ramsey is a girl.
Gordon and Ramsey. Yeah, we'll make Ramsey the girl.
Ramsey's a good name for a girl, actually.
Well, if
Is
they're
it?
Ramsey,
I like that name.
it's a
for
good
a girl.
name for a girl. Yeah, Ramsey.
Ramsey.
I
It
bet.
just makes me
I'm
think of
sure it
Nacho.
exists. What's that?
Makes me think of Nacho Libre. Ramses is the best.
Ramses is the
Ramses
best,
is
yeah.
number 1.
No, Alec, I don't live in squalor. I just, a lot of people would have saw that and immediately made the frog get out. But me
No.
being the outdoorsman that I am,
I would not have done that to that frog. I would have
me
just let
being
him
the
chill.
conservationist and in the nature lover that I am, the camper and the hiker and the swimmer that I am, I saw that and thought, no, I'm gonna let them hang as long as they want
Yeah, I have
until they find a place to go.
I got a buddy named Freddie who I moved to my house in 2005, October.
Yeah,
So this year make 20 years. Freddie has been with me, I want to say, since 2010.
yeah,
He was a baby lizard.
I'll be darned.
Now he's full grown. He's big. Freddie's huge. And he just lives on my patio. He eats up all the bugs. I don't bother him. I'll sit out there with a cigar. Freddie will just sit there and look at me. He'll be on the wall just sitting there looking at me. I'm like, what's up, Freddie? I let him eat up all the little light bugs and shit.
Mhm.
He's full grown. The kids know him. He just lives on my patio. I don't mess with Freddie. Freddie's good people, man. Freddie's family. He doesn't know he's mine.
Oh, he knows where he lives, though.
I think he thinks that you're his.
I know.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah,
Freddie
yeah.
probably about like Freddie. Yeah, Freddie's.
Nice.
Yeah, Freddie's a good size,
Nice.
good dude, man. I love
He'd-
Freddie.
He'd pay rent.
Yeah. He said he paid rent.
If they're still there tonight when the sun goes down, I'll probably
Scoot 'em.
I'll scoot them and put them out in the
Wow.
yard under a tree or something
Yeah.
in the dark where they can have a chance. I wasn't going to dump him there in the day this morning because he obviously needed to post up in my shoe for the day so we can hide because frogs are mostly nocturnal.
I didn't know that till today.
Yeah.
I was excited for our in the building class pet.
No, don't bring him in
No, I'm
here.
not going to catch him.
No, don't bring him in
Then
here.
I'm SeaWorld. I don't want to do that.
And then blackfish.
He
yeah.
needs to be free. He needs to be on his own. His fate needs to be decided by nature, not humans, not me.
Speaking of that, like I
Yes, sir.
love how people needed to see Blackfish to know that SeaWorld was awful. Like, you know what I mean? Like they from the ocean and y'all don't realize,
Yeah.
like, oh, after Blackfish, it took that for you to know that animal didn't belong in a pool.
You know how we are. Pictures or it doesn't count.
I was
Video or it
like,
didn't
I
happen.
always was creeped out. Like, dude, that pool to a killer whale is like us living in a bathtub.
Right.
It's like, yeah, oh, Blackfish. Like, oh, okay, cool.
That definitely made me not want to work at SeaWorld, though. I'll tell you that. I don't want to get my arm chomped by fucking old Tillicum.
Bookie, I promise you, you're not. You got to meet certain qualifications to get that close to.
What
the
the
whale.
hell?
You don't meet them.
I can meet him.
You know,
I'd
you
be a
don't
great
meet the
animal
qual-
trainer.
You
Me
don't
and
probably
meet the
Scott.
can't-
qual-
Oh, those kids. Now those are some swimmers.
Yeah,
those
they're
kids.
different. They're
Good
going down
Lord.
40
no.
feet deep, 50
No,
feet
no,
deep. You don't qualify, boo.
Yeah, they
don't
have
worry.
gills. SeaWorld has gone to great lengths to better its reputation. They no longer bring in killer
But once
whales.
they're all dead, it's done, right?
The program is done. Now they just raise them to the die. We actually just had one die at SeaWorld here in San Antonio last week.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Damn, I missed that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Now, I will say, and the folks at SeaWorld, while they appreciate me saying that they've gone to great lengths to better things, they won't appreciate it, but tough shit. It is what it is. The dolphin enclosure, while it's neat and we had an
That one needs to
experience
go
with the
away, too.
dolphins, I don't love the fact that they
I
have
don't either.
dolphins either. Dolphin, you know how many thousands of miles dolphins travel every year? It's
That's
part of their
insane.
life, part of their mating, part of their eating, part of their everything. To be in a tank, no.
Now, the one thing Blackfish
No,
did teach me
no.
was about the dorsal fin. I didn't know why it was so sad.
Oh yeah, it's a mood fin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Theirs is always sad at SeaWorld.
Do you
Right.
think it gets hard?
Yes, it does. When they're ready to mate, it goes straight in the air. Whoop.
Fuck yeah.
And then a long, skinny rod comes out of their belly, and that's how they make babies.
Do you think they get circumcised?
No,
No.
never. Probably not. Unless SeaWorld was doing it as experimentation back in the day. I don't think you can, though.
I was gonna get excited.
Don't
I was saying,
need
my
it.
brothers.
No, you're not circumcision. You're not circumcision brothers with Tilikum, the murderous killer whale bouquet.
Yeah, shout out to Telecom.
You never know. Every show is different with him. You just never know. There's nowhere to go but do another live spot. All right. Look, obviously the timing's goofy, but I mean, look, it is storm season. And I've been saying for weeks, man, the storms are not over. We'll have more
you
before
do
the
have to
season is
rebuild.
over.
You do have to rebuild. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. My
I
gosh.
mean, we don't have a choice.
No, I mean, absolutely. And so many people in this area will have roof, hail damage, weatherization. We have such volatile weather in frickin' Texas with our extreme summers and our bone-chilling winters. And the elements in this state will wreak havoc on a roof. And that's why we've got so many great roofing companies. And the official one of us is GC Services Roofing and Construction, serving San Antonio, Hill Country, all the way down to the Gulf Coast and back. It is GC Services Roofing and or Construction. If you or you know somebody who needs a roofer and you want to do local business with Boodle San Antonio companies that happen to be affiliated within the building because you watch me and Rudy, we would love you to call our guys at GC Services Roofing and Construction. They just did Mr. Singh's roof this
Looks
past
beautiful.
week. Looks fantastic. But see the drone footage?
Yeah.
Looks great.
And
Looks
Mr.
awesome.
AD, shout out to AD, gave every single roofer a bottle of tequila. Yeah. But also, I'll say this to the people, listening, possibly in the Hill Country, and you may have to redo it. Vet, if you don't go with GC, vet your roofing company, because this is the time of year where fake companies pop up, show up at your door,
Yep.
take half your money, and you tear half your roof up. Russ just sent us some pictures the other day of
Yep.
a family that they tore their people roof up, took their money, and never showed up again. It's happened to me when the last
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 12 years ago, hell season showed up, took my money, never saw them again. So if you don't go with GC, which I don't know why you wouldn't, make sure you vet your roofing company, because it's going to be a lot of fly-by-night guys
Yep.
coming by stealing people's money,
For
which
sure.
is, you deserve to go to jail for a very long time if you do that to people, especially at a time like this. But
Yeah.
call GC or Lone Star Nano, and this way you can protect it from these crazy storms we've been having this summer. It's been a crazy summer.
Crazy. So Rudy says vet your roofer, of course, or just take our word for it
Right.
and call GC. We've done the vetting for you, and GC's our guy. And Lone
12
Star
roofs.
Nano.
12
now.
in the building roofs.
Lone Star Nano will put their love sauce on a roof too and prolong the life of said roof.
They can't even put the love sauce on ADs because it won't stop raining. It's got to
Oh,
be
they
dry.
haven't treated it yet?
Got to be dry.
That's
Yeah.
because it's got that coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get in between stuff.
Right.
It's to keep crap from getting on the roof
Right.
and sediment and stuff like that. So it's Lone Star and our GC Services Roofing and Lone Star Nano Services. All right, so I mentioned that I haven't really I can't read too much about victims. Some of the stories you're seeing,
brutal.
I just really, it's hard for me to sit through that, especially like all day long. It's one of those times where you almost get like you're glued to the TV and you have to make yourself stop watching. you just wind up doom scrolling. It just sucks. But one thing I did do, because I love reading about history and stuff, is I did do a deep dive this week. Not that I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes on this, reading up on floods in our area.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was sitting there, I was talking to my twins about this on the phone last night, and they were like, "How? This is so bad, Dad." I'm like, "Yeah, it's the worst thing certainly that's happened."
Natural, anyway.
That wasn't hurricane related.
Right.
Which
there
is
you go. Yeah,
crazy.
There you go. You're right.
This was like a hurricane over the hill country, which was rare. We had one of those rain bombs, as weather people will call them.
12 inches in what? An hour for like 45 minutes. It rose 26
Something
feet.
insane.
Rose 26 feet in like 45
You
minutes.
see all the time lapse cameras?
It's crazy.
Like, this is 30 minutes of time, and it goes from like 2 feet to 30.
Yeah.
Read up on floods in our area, because our city clearly, we're in a flood zone. Every time it rains,
floods.
we always talk about this. All right, it's
Remember
going to rain
we had this
tonight.
show on Parent Just what was that, a month ago?
3 weeks, month ago. Yeah, we had 13 people got killed in San Antonio in floods. 12 in one ravine up off Parent and 410 a month ago. And I'm like, this town. So the kids asked me, like, "Dad, this has got to be like the worst thing ever." I'm like, "Yeah." Well, I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm thinking this is the worst thing, like, just for sheer numbers, like number of people that have passed away. This has got to be the worst thing we've endured as a city, as an area, since the Alamo. I mean, really, is it that crazy? So I started looking it up. We've had floods over the way back in the day.
Mm-hmm. What did you tell me? 19.
We used to flood 21. There was a major
21.
flood.
You
So
said 1921.
yeah, so 1913.
Okay.
We had huge floods in the area that killed, like, I want to say 40-something people here in the city, which was, it wasn't like we had 1.8 million people then, 1913, Right. It was tragic. And, of course, infrastructure wasn't like now. We didn't have bridges and dams and
levees,
highways and levees and stuff. We were just at the mercy of nature. And there was another huge flood that we had in 1921 that killed 51 San Antonians, I think. And like the surrounding area, I think 200 people wound up losing their lives in 1921.
Lord.
And so that's when city officials here in town got together and were like, we've got to do something about the floods. We're clearly in a flood zone, because it's just where we are geographically. San Antonio floods. Every time there's a storm, me and you are like, all right,
for 20 minutes.
Don't be a dumbass and drive in high water, because you're going to risk your life and some firefighter's life,
Yeah.
So we're used to it. But the 1921 flood was so bad, finally our city leaders got together. And they were like, we've got to figure out something to do. What do we do here? We've got to figure out a way to manipulate water, which goes against nature. But I mean, dams are very controversial, because you're redirecting rivers and this kind of thing. But what they wound up doing in 21 was they wound up building the Almost Dam, which we have right up here. Now it's turned into the Almost Basin.
Right.
Up here right off 281 near Alamo Heights.
Yeah.
And they finished it. I think they started building it in 21, finished it in 24, and that did make a difference because that part of the San Antonio, we still get floods there near Alamo Heights. We still get floods along that riverbank there and underneath the dam. We still get high water.
Right.
But back in those days, it would kill people every time it happened. So they had to do something about that. That ultimately led to them kind of trying to irrigate the San Antonio River, like every so many hundred yards or whatever.
Yeah.
To try to put different little dams to fix it. And it's like, okay, cool, we'll do that. And then they started doing that, and it was working. It's like, what do we do? Should we just pave it over there? What do we do by the river now? And that's when city business owners were like, why don't we just put some like businesses along that route now? Because until then, it was just a river. There was nothing there.
Right.
People would go there to swim and fish. But it was in the late 20s when they started trying to fix the flooding issues is when we got the idea.
And it's impossible to fix 100%.
No, of
This
course
is
not.
impossible.
But what
just because
wound up,
where we sit.
but the flood of 21 wound up leading to the building of dams, the building of better irrigation systems, and the building of the Riverwalk itself. Because that's when city leaders, business owners were like, let's post up. Now that we know it's not going to flood, we can put businesses and like houses and stuff, hotels along the river. And that's what spawned the idea that turned into what we now know as the Riverwalk. Due to the flooding, the city had to fix that part of the river or protect us from that river, and that's what wound up leading to the idea. Let's just stick some restaurants on there too, or some bars.
Build it
into
up.
The Riverwalk. It's crazy. I read it. Went into a long rabbit hole on that.
Deep
98, yeah, Matt's right. 98, we had bad flood.
Now, Matt, I was right by the there was a whole gas station that got wiped out. It was that one, I remember that one vividly because I was like caught in the beginning of it, and I made it home thankfully.
Yeah,
but I remember 98 very, very well, very well. But this is this one is this one's definitely sad, just to say the least.
I think, what is it, over 80 something past now?
Yeah.
God, I don't like, as a human, I don't process that.
No, I know. If you just count to 80 and just think about how long it'll take.
80 something funerals, 80 something families devastated
forever.
The trajectory of their families, all these little girls, these are all future society members, contributors to our economy, wives, mothers, daughters, granddaughters, grandmoms,
great grandkids. It's insane.
Yeah, just generations
lost
of people will never happen now because of it's just hard for the human brain to even fathom this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just beyond the pale.
And when you see the videos, you're like, I don't know. Like, it's so much water. And it's just like, you see how it pulls up these huge trees. It's like, so think about that. And then you think about a car. And then you think about someone Buki size. If it's taking trees, nothing
you're
you can
helpless.
do.
There's nothing
you can do.
Nothing.
I'm a pretty big man, Rudy. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, sure.
Can you swim at all, Bouquet? You don't strike me as a swimmer.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. I can swim, but I don't. I'm not Katie Ledecky. Let's just say that.
Okay. You can, but you're not any good at
I'll
it.
survive out in sea for a little bit.
Like, if we went out to the ocean, could you hack?
Sure.
We went a mile out. And we just went
a mile.
Around.
That's a long. That's far. But I could. Yeah.
No, we're not going to swim for a mile. We're going to go a mile out to sea. We're just going to drop anchor.
That's far out.
You're just going to float around for a little bit and come back to the boat.
Oh, I'll go out there on the boat, jump in, get back in the boat.
You jump into the open sea?
Yeah,
that's easy. I've snorkeled before in Venezuela.
That a boy.
No. But
would you free swim with no snorkel gear?
No.
Yeah.
No. I need a life jacket.
I mean, the damn breathing tube didn't do jack shit anyway. So.
Well, it takes a while for the air to get there. That's the thing.
Did you not have a life vest on when you went snorkeling?
No. Yeah, pussy.
Well, I'm just saying, dude. Okay, well, if you can snorkel without a life vest, then you're good.
No,
come on. I got that.
I respect the water.
It depends on how long you want to be out there.
Right.
You want to be out there for like an hour. You should probably have a life vest.
I'll be out there for days. I'll be fine.
That a boy. All right, very good.
Call me the life of Pi.
Relax, sir. Relax. Relax.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
What a
you do?
What a weekend, man. It's crazy.
Awful.
Again, I was looking through older videos again. And
okay.
we're
just gonna have fun with Mike videos today.
Well, I just wanted to play this again. You know, I every time I find this, I just feel like we need to play.
It's our comma. It's our pause. And
it's a great
blop 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 blop.
I hate seeing this girl get knocked out.
Blop,
I don't
blop.
like seeing women get
Buddy,
hurt.
I haven't even
all the money flying.
And bam!
Down goes Chastity.
God, there's another part to that video earlier. As you guys know, they tend to fight in scantily dressed things, as they are strip club employees.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes when the nipple comes out, the referee has to get in there and tuck the nipple back in
because they have gloves on.
Because of course, common decency. And this one time, the larger white girl nipple fell out. The ref doing his thing, and Chastity came in as soon as she possibly could and hit the white girl with the dirtiest body shot I've ever seen in my life. The nipple wasn't even barely in there, and she just came in here with a rib shot. It was disgusting. So shout out to Chastity.
Terrible. One time, years ago, me and the bear. This is one of those stories. This is one of those stories that Jim Bob will regret helping us out and get the TV show.
I know.
Because in Corpus, Jim Bob is James Brazil,
Right.
news director,
He's Jim Bob to me
manager.
forever.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
manager.
I won't call him that in front of his colleagues, but
JB.
he's
No,
Jim
they call
Bob.
him JB.
Okay, he's
But,
Jim Bob to me.
Yeah, so
I thought that was his actual name.
it is his name, Jim Bob. It's not James. No, it's James Robert. So he's been called, but they've called him Jim Bob since he was old enough to crawl. No, it's just these are one of those things where he's like, damn it, I'm bringing in Mike and Rudy. This is great, but now they're going to tell all of my old
Yeah,
stories.
we got to.
In the building, television,
Sports
edition, August 30th, Chris 6, Corpus Christi. Be tuned
which
in.
we found out
Mhm.
y'all will be able to watch.
You will be able to. We'll
we
let you
forgot
know.
to tell y'all that.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
We made sure that.
Yeah, I saw you were down there.
No, that was an old video.
Yeah, I was down there some time ago.
I was about to say, I was like, oh wow, Mike rolled down there. How nice.
Well,
He couldn't post it until we made the announcement.
yeah, it's the magic of the post. You never know.
Yeah, dude. Good
never know how
Lord.
a
Oh, I'm
video-
sorry. I fell
Play
for it.
along, man.
I fell for it. I was playing along. I
No,
was,
I was
hide
down
and
there.
seeker.
Yeah, well, I did go down there. No, so Jim Bob and I. This is about this. This has to do with this video that he loves to show of the two strippers boxing. We went to men's club one night to oil wrestle two of the dancers.
Wow.
At men's club.
You were doing the wrestling.
Yeah, we wrestled. Me and Jim Bob were a tag team partnership against two of the gals.
Respect.
And they got us in a ring. It was a giant like pool, like a portable
Yeah, I know
pool.
it should be one of them little baby pools full of baby oil.
But it was big. It's about the size of this studio we're in.
Jesus, this is
Diddy
very
before
deep.
Diddy.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is Diddy coded right now.
And we had as much baby oil as Diddy ever had.
Jesus.
Imagine now, you know how many bottles of baby oil it takes
Yeah.
to fill a pool? And it was ankle deep.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
it's a lot
oil.
of baby oil.
And somewhere there's probably YouTube video out there to incriminate me and JB. But there's nudity in it too, so maybe people were rolling on it with their phones, but who knows where it is? I doubt you're gonna. Oh, look, here we go. He's searching. I doubt you're gonna find it because these girls did not have tops on.
Oh no, you're not finding
Yeah.
that.
One of the top results. R.I.P.
Dude, how did you get?
Did I get died on Reddit?
Were you? Wait.
Oh
How
God.
did your?
Why did I get died on Reddit? Hey, motherfucker, I ain't dead.
Time out, Mike. How did you get your wife at the time to sign off on you baby oil wrestling with topless women?
That was my first wife. She
I
didn't
know.
give a shit.
Oh,
She
she knew you were just trying to work, trying to come up.
she cared too little.
Oh,
That was one of our problems.
because like I mean, look, my wife is all about $1.
Anna
She's
wouldn't
all-
let you wrestle with
She's
me.
all about me getting some money. Like she like, yo, go get your paper, baby. I got your back. I want
Yeah.
you to get paid.
Yeah.
But if I'm like, I gotta go wrestle topless chicks in baby oil, I'm gonna have to skip that check.
Okay.
dog.
Well, let me
I'm gonna
finish the
have to
story.
check. I'm gonna have to skip that check, dog.
Let me finish the story.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe this will change her mind.
It won't. Go ahead.
So we're all excited. Of course, I wear a La Lucha. I got a
Of course you
Lucha
do.
mask on.
Of course you do.
I got a cape,
Of course.
tights. Jim Bob's in a La Lucha mask with all of his, and he's topless too with all that mask.
Yeah.
Jim Bob, for those that don't know, is a massive, massive human being.
Yeah.
His nickname is the Bear for a
Right.
very, very,
A lot of
very
hair
good
too.
reason.
He's a hairy
A
bastard.
Yeah, I
very
could imagine.
giant, hairy man. A very hairy man and giant. Like he had these giant things, like right here.
Lats.
Yeah, but they were fat lats.
Yeah.
They were fats.
Those,
Love
those
handles?
walrus
Yeah,
flaps.
no, not even like love handles are
No.
down here. JB has like his boobs wrap around the other
Yeah,
side of
I
it.
call them walrus flaps.
Walrus flaps. JB had walrus flaps
Wow.
in those days. And so he comes out, gong, gong, gong. Everybody's going ape shit. They get these two strippers out there, and they're just in thongs. That's it.
No top.
No top. And one of them, so we were like, hi, we were there to do a bit. So we get in the ring. There's a referee and everything. They announce us. Come onto the stage. It's Mike and Jim Pie from the Ticket. You know, those strip club DJs.
God.
You got cinnamon here.
Yeah.
Dude.
For the next 5 minutes.
So I don't know where they got these girls, the guys that ran the club. Out comes what she looked like.
Oh.
Dude. The first chick that shows up was a very attractive woman.
Okay.
But she looked like one of the Williams sisters. She was huge. She looked like Serena.
Yeah, she was built. She had some muscle on.
Huge. I'm like, oh man, you went and got like a volleyball player up in here. And they get in the ring and she's got this scowl on her face.
Like she was serious.
I thought she was just playing along. We're doing a bit, you know, we're having fun. And then the other girl was just.
You thought y'all were gonna sexy wrestle.
Sure. Yeah. So this girl comes up and jumps on JB's back and hog ties him, puts him around his neck. She's cutting off his windpipe. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait. And all of a sudden throws him on the ground. That man's 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And of course, there's baby oil. So she
slipped.
Boom, gets on top of him.
I know the crowd's going crazy.
And is putting her elbow in his throat. And then my girl, I'm just trying to like grapple with her a little bit, and homegirl hauls off and knees me in the balls.
Oh no! Now we gonna. Nah, we fighting now. Now it's on. Now we about the rest.
But I can't get a hold of her because we're covered in oil. So
she needs you in the nuts on purpose.
They beat the shit out of. Yes, she said she didn't.
Oh,
bullshit! It was not sexy. It was terrible. We regretted it 5 seconds into it. Because we were both hurt. Here's Jim Bob with a bruised larynx and me with one testicle.
So you couldn't even enjoy the tatas all over you.
God, no.
Because you're getting your ass kicked.
No, had nothing. Yeah. No, there was no enjoyment whatsoever about this. Whatsoever. And it took me 8 days to get the baby oil off me. It was all up in my ears, up in my asshole. Oh. It was bad. It was gross. Got him a wiener hole. I had oil went everywhere. In my nostrils. It was bad.
I'm not a baby oil fan. I don't get that.
Dude, I swear to God, 2-3 days later, I'm still like wiping oil out of my ears.
Well, at least you were moisturized.
I guess. Overly, though.
Yeah. I'm not a lotion guy either when it comes to pleasuring myself.
What?
You know, people use lotion.
I don't care, Jose.
I don't do that, dude. That's gross. Like, why would you get that on yourself? Like, you get that in your pee hole, too?
Baby oil? It don't go in the pee hole.
No. But like when you're allegedly, all white people say they use like some sort of moisturizer. Some
KY?
Sort of sure. I don't know. They use some sort of.
For like sex?
No, for fucking masturbating.
Oh, okay.
That's gross.
Well, how did
some
he
sort
go
of
there?
lotion. Well, that's what I was thinking of.
No, I've used everything you can think of.
I can't do that. I'm dry every time.
Some better than others. You know, when you're a teenager, you experiment with all kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know? Aaron Canoper's in here. Thank you, Aaron. $4.99. When you swim in the ocean, you are part of the food chain. Just not necessarily at the top of the food chain, but you are part of it. No question. No, very true about that. All right. Show brought to you in part by Sammy's Embroidery, who returns this week. I'm gonna pay attention. I'm gonna pay a little visit to Sammy later today.
Okay, I was gonna ask you that.
Visit the store. The main showroom is 6900 San Pedro Avenue, right? Just south of North Star Mall on San Pedro. Sammy's Embroidery, been around since 1994. The official logo man, outfitter of our program, Sammy's Embroidery. Everybody in this part of the city knows, or this part of the state knows Sammy. His name has become synonymous with logos. He outfits school districts, softball leagues, every athletic league in the city has at some point worked with Sam at some point. And you should too, whether you got a paint body shop, y'all need names and the logo of your company on the shirt, or individual things. I've gotten Mother's Day gifts over there at Sammy's in the past. Had like the grandma's name stitched on the purse. Yeah, whatever it is, Sammy can do it when it comes to embroidery work, stitching, logos. He can make signs for you. He's evolved from where he was back in the day.
Yeah, all types of
all
stuff.
That stuff. He makes signs on clothes and stuff. Sammy's Embroidery. Call him, 210-824-3900. 824-3900 or samsembroidery.com. Samsembroidery.com. All right, want to do a little punching, get a little violent today? Let's get violent on In the Building.
Now, it's time for People I Want to Punch on In the Building.
All right, I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, I'll punch anybody and everybody that can we wait? Can we let people, you know, there's still people missing. Can we give people some time to recover and regroup, just kind of start living somewhat normally before we start pointing fingers? Either side. Like, in the middle of while we're still searching for people, you got both sides already pointing fingers. And I'm talking about the higher ups. I'm talking about from the higher ups all the way down to the losers on Facebook. Like, we're literally starting to get these people supplies still. We're still literally looking for human beings. And y'all are already arguing over shit. Like, give these people some proper time to get their lives back in somewhat a normal day. And again, I'm talking about all the way up to the top politicians, all the way down to the people on Facebook. Like, can we just give them a couple weeks? And I know that's what we do now. Both sides, we're so lost, and we're always looking to blame because we hate each other right now. But good Lord, just a bit of decency. Just a bit of decency for a couple of weeks. That's all I ask. I get it. That's what we're gonna do. I can't change the world. I gotta just live in the world we live in. I have to exist in it. But at some point, your moral compass has to come into play before you start going, well, if you didn't do this, and well, if y'all didn't do this, and this looks fake because cloud seeding and this and that, and this is the left, and this is the right. Like, bro, we're talking about 8, 7, 6, 9-year-old little girls never coming home. Never coming home. And y'all start in the middle of the recovery? Not even the middle, the beginning of the recovery? Shame on you. Punch all of you, both sides.
Saw some local officials.
Even the guy that came to the oh, well, the National Weather Service failed. Like,
That's
bro,
what I'm saying. Yeah,
like,
dude. That's wait. Yeah, I just think I was just going to bring that
my
up.
bad. Go ahead.
No. You've got local officials that have been grilled all week by the media, and they're probably just frustrated.
Yeah,
and they're
that's
devastated,
true.
and they're hurt. And a couple of them have now lashed out at meteorologists, which is also not cool at all and
Right.
shouldn't be doing it. You know, I'm trying to give grace right now to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Just like, again, we'll get to that.
Yeah. This is but we don't do that, do we? We have a news, something happens in the news. We fire off an idiotic, stupid opinion that has nothing to do with anything, and you don't have any idea what you're talking about because you ain't even 99.999% of the people that post don't know shit about what happened, never even been to Kerrville. But I'm trying to show grace because to the people throwing the meteorologists under the bus, which was stupid. Hopefully they'll come back and apologize. A couple of those guys that did that. Maybe they won't. Can you imagine being a small town city manager or just a manager?
No, I would. This is. No.
I mean, it ain't like look. No offense to the mayor of Kerrville. He has had his ass torn apart. Do you know what the mayor of Kerrville does every day? Not much. You go to City Hall, you drink coffee with people that work at City Hall, you check in with the local fire chief. How we doing? Everything's good. Great. Yeah. You check in with the local police chief. How we doing? We doing good? Cool.
Right.
You know, you maybe sit down on a city council meeting here and there. You give an opinion maybe.
Right.
You show up for a new Taco Bell that opens. You don't do much when you're a local mayor of a small town.
You smile.
Yeah.
Hug people and kiss babies.
Or even the county judge. I mean,
Right.
You don't really do a whole lot. And when something catastrophic happens in your little community, so oftentimes we'll have natural disasters, mass shootings, and they'll happen. And the first thing we start doing is sizing up the police chief or the public information officer or the mayor, rather than just let things play out and let humans be humans.
For
man.
a minute. Can we give it
Just a minute.
Can we give it a minute?
Just a minute.
Like, again, we're still looking for people, and we're talking politics while we're searching for people's children.
Right. These are the same assholes that voted
Come
against.
on,
They've
bro.
cut payments for
Come on, bro.
National Weather Service. Let's see if that actually is true or not before you just fire off an opinion on Twitter and then we never hear from you again because that's what gets you through your day, you know?
Mm-hmm. Again, I get it. I know where I live.
I don't
But
have
I'm
to
just
tweet
talking about
all of my opinions.
Right. At some point, though, you have to be like, let me read this again before I hit send.
Mm-hmm.
Before you hit send, first of all, research, but also give it a couple minutes and see if they think it really matters.
Yeah, and like I say this all the time with like ball players. We talk about KD, Kevin Durant. Like, dude, who shivs a get about what someone replies to you on a tweet over? Stop reading your replies. So I don't care about these morons that we'll never know or see, just randos. But city officials are the ones that's what gets on my nerves.
Yeah.
The politicization of everything by politicians.
And again, we're gonna get to it.
You know, Nina was showing me some things. You know, people getting political. Well, these damn Republicans, they voted to cut National Weather Service index. But then you turn it around, and the exact same things were being said about these damn liberals out in California after the Palisade fires.
Mm-hmm.
It does. So can we just let our city officials breathe for a minute before we size their asses up and just definitively judge them? You know, the cowardly son of a bitch sheriff and police chiefs of Uvalde, F those sons of bitches. They went yellow in a time of need.
Yeah,
they deserve it.
That's totally different.
And as things played out and we got evidence, we were in fact true. They went yellow and they were scared shitless to do their jobs. But what happened in Kerrville was a natural disaster in the most dangerous river valley in America. And we're not 2 hours in,
dude,
and you have bodies floating in the debris. Can we let 5 days go by? A week or 2 days before we size everybody up, man. It ain't easy being it's easy to be a little local mayor of a small town until something happens.
Until it ain't.
And everybody wants to judge you. That's a good punch. My punch is so less important, but I'm gonna punch former TCU wide receiver.
Who?
Dallas Cowboys all-pro kick returner Kevontae Turpin. He just cannot stay right. Kevontae Turpin got kicked out of school at TCU because he beat the shit out of his girlfriend.
Jesus.
Then he got arrested a year later for another family violence issue, 2019. And then he got his shit together. He's been fine. Okay? Then he gets arrested over the weekend in the Metro Sex.
I saw that.
Illegal gun possession and weed possession. They're both misdemeanors.
Wait, I thought in Texas you didn't need a license anymore.
Well, I don't know what it was. It was a misdemeanor gun charge.
Okay, got you.
Maybe he had it in public.
Whatever.
Maybe he had it out the car. I don't know. Maybe he had it brandished. I don't know.
Who knows? But he got arrested.
It wasn't. This is not nearly having a joint and a gun in your car. Ain't nothing compared to beating up your girlfriend.
Right.
But dude, you know you have a history. You know that the NFL is very arbitrary when they come to punishing folks. You know you've been on the grid before. Why don't you not get busted with weed and a gun in the car? I don't understand these kids, man.
Especially I'm not saying he's barely on the team.
But he just signed a 3-year, $18 million deal. Hey, Rudy, for the next 3 years, I'm going to give you $6 million a year for 3 years. All I ask is you don't have marijuana and weed, don't have marijuana and guns in your car. Can you do that for just 3 years?
For $6 million.
And then when 3 years is over,
considering I was just in the UFL, I think I can handle that.
God.
I think I can handle it.
Kevontae, I love you.
With your little ass.
No guns in the car. Hell, you're right, Rudy. In Texas, having weed is worse than having a gun. So punch Kevontae Turpin. Yeah. I don't agree with the weed laws in this state, but you still know them. And you're making a lot of money. What are you doing,
No,
man?
He's not Sam. Sam Hurd wanted to be Pablo Escobar.
No, Sam Hurd was an idiot.
Sam Hurd was a
thug. He's a dealer.
Screw that.
He's a criminal. Kevontae
he
Turpin's
owes me $5,000.
Oh, yeah. Kevontae Turpin's just a knucklehead.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Just go to training camp and stay the hell out of trouble, Kevontae. See, I rip TCU guys too, just like everybody else. I ain't biased. All right, ain't gonna do it. Anyway, so whatever.
Yeah.
I'm happy. He's 5'7".
If that.
He's turned it into big money in the NFL. He's a damn good kick returner. And dude, no weed in the car. It's
Yeah.
Texas. Can't do that. All right, Orlando Kell is the official family law man in the building. If you need a family lawyer, it is Orlando Kell. If you need any sort of attorney, he knows somebody who does what you need, even if it's not family law, because he's been practicing law in this city for going on 27 years now. It is Orlando Kell. He brings us people I want to punch. Don't punch your soon-to-be ex-wife, because then it's going to mess you up in court. Let Orlando punch her on paper in the system in the courtroom. It is Orlando Kell, 210-775-4995. You can email him directly, orlandokell.law@gmail.com. orlandokell@gmail.com. Speaking of the NFL, did you see, remember DeMaurice Smith, a long time, he was the director of the Players Union?
Of course. He was very polarizing.
Very. Because he fought.
Yeah, he didn't really take no shiz.
Well, he has not been the Players Union boss for a couple of years now and is writing a book about his time.
Lord.
Have you seen any of this?
No.
Ah, yes. Okay.
He didn't sign an NDA to be in that job?
No, because he didn't work for the NFL. He worked for the union.
Great point.
So he can say what he wants about the NFL. So DeMaurice Smith, they called him D, has written a book.
Barack were really tight, weren't they?
I think so.
They were tight.
Coming out soon. The name of the book is called Turf Wars. It comes out next month. In the book, according to USA Today, he slams Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, former NFL General Counsel Jeff Pash. He was basically who handed out all the punishment for Goodell.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers, new quarterback of the Steelers.
I'm all for that.
Gets thrown under the bus. In the book, Smith calls Roger Goodell a cold, dark void of a man.
Jesus.
Who was in the employment of madmen and did whatever they told him to do, which we know that.
That's his job. Part of it.
Jerry Jones is characterized as stingy despite his estimated net worth of, $14 billion now, Jerry's worth? In the book, Smith writes about Jerry, quote, if Jerry Jones saw a dollar bill on the ground, he'd pick it up and he'd stop and pick it up. That's how greedy he is. I mean, it makes sense. He's worth $12 billion and he don't spend shit. I'm surprised he paid Cavante $18 million over 3 years.
Jerry's a capitalist, man.
Probably looking for a way to get out of Davante's contract as we speak. Oh, he got arrested. Fuck that.
He's done.
Figure out how to get out from second year. So Jerry's one of the main names called out in this book, although he jumped on some other owners too. He says all 32 owners are, quote, a cabal of greedy billionaires.
He called them a cabal?
A cabal of greedy billionaires. He did have praise for Robert Kraft. So he's the classiest owner in the league, yeah? Mr. Handjob.
Probably took him down to that Orlando masseuse spot.
Probably did. But the worst of all NFL officials, according to DeMaurice Smith, is Pash, the general counsel, worked right underneath Goodell, Pash just retired this past season after 40 years in the league, calls Pash, quote, definitely the most unscrupulous. In a corporation filled with ruthless people, Pash has everyone else beat. And then called Aaron Rodgers isolated and dismissive. And says, well, so they had a captain's meeting once where DeMaurice came in and he'd go to different places and he would meet with captains of the teams. Just, hey, how's it going here in Dallas? Let's talk. Because they would have the players.
Yeah, you want to say, hey, man, they treating y'all good?
Yeah, player reps would sit down and they would meet with DeMaurice. And he always says Aaron Rodgers disrespected him every time he went to Green Bay to talk to the captains. He felt disrespected. Says he would sit in the back rows of all the meetings. He would sigh real loudly. And every time Rodgers would get up and just walk out before the meeting was even over. Just,
maybe he didn't think he was
I'm out of here, bro.
Maybe he didn't think he was a good president.
Rodgers is just an asshole, though.
For sure.
Still, though, even if you don't like what you're hearing, you don't get up and walk out. Every single time. Says he was an incredible quarterback, to be sure, but an even more impressive antagonist. In 2021, in August, I texted Aaron. I needed to talk to him. And I texted him and I just wrote, can you call me? And Aaron replied, quote, I would rather run into traffic.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, just fucking, just Rodgers had no time for him. Just none.
I don't like Aaron Rodgers, but that's funny.
That is funny. That is funny. All right.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. Thank you to Jay Ribaldo. A lot of
What
folks,
up, Jay?
A lot of folks don't have time to sell their homes or even look for whether you're looking to sell or you're looking to buy. A lot of times, folks have to wait till summertime to do this because they got vacation. They're too busy in the summer. They got downtime. All right. You're still dreaming of that new home before summertime ends? Jay Ribaldo, he is the official real estate man of In the Building. Jay Ribaldo's been our guy. He's a day one supporter of In the Building, and you should support him. If you are looking to get into the media market, this is our guy. It's Jay Ribaldo. I love when we get these testimonials from people, too. This is from Bernardo O., who wrote this on Jay's Instagram handle. It says, Jay and his team are incredible. They have helped us on both ends of the real estate spectrum, selling the house that our family outgrew, and then helping us purchase the perfect property in a rural part of the county we live in. So they actually used Jay to sell their house and used Jay to buy the next one because they were so happy with what he did when they sold their first house.
Nice.
Shout out to Jay Ribaldo, the official real estate man. 210-887-1081. You can email Jay. It is jribaldo@kw.com. Before we get out of here, I don't know how many guys the United States men's soccer team was missing last night, but we're going to need is Pulisic back next year for the World Cup? I'm assuming yes.
He's healthy. He just didn't want
My God.
It's
So-
like he don't got time for the Gold Cup.
Bouquet's our soccer guy. Outside of Pulisic, how many other key guys did not bother showing up for the Gold Cup?
A few. This is the B team. This is the B.
This was the B team.
B team.
All right,
B team,
well,
C team. Yeah.
they got their ass kicked. That was Mexico's varsity.
Yeah.
Well, it matters.
For them because they've sucked ass.
Is half our roster still kids born to foreign wives, to
Yeah.
American dads?
Probably.
It makes you
I'm
wonder, do
fine
they
with
really
that.
give a shit, though, about representing the United States when you were raised in a German military base? If your mom's from France, but your daddy, like say you're Tony Parker, and they're like, you can't make the French national team. Would you play for the American team and be just as
See,
proudful?
I think so because it's like with some guys, like perfect example, like San Antonio's own Jordan. Good Lord.
Clarkson.
Yeah, Clarkson. I mean, he's
Philippines.
obviously
Philippines?
he played Philippines. Carl Anthony Towns. He's not good enough to make Team USA. He played for the Dominican Republic.
And and did it proudly.
Yeah,
All
did
right,
it
I just want
proudly.
to make
So
sure
it
that
happens.
these military brats
Because those kids that are military, right, they're not good enough to be for Barca.
that
So,
never even
like, I'll
come
go be
here,
a star for USA.
that's fine.
You got a better chance of being a star here than you do.
Right, and
in
who's
the
Pulisic
Argentina.
play for these days? PSG?
Isn't it?
AC Milan.
Yeah, Milan.
AC
He's
Milan,
in the Italian league, which is a great league. And Milan's an elite
Like,
team.
am I going to worry about AC Milan? Or I'm going to worry about the Gold Cup.
Well, see, if my mom's from Belgium and I was raised in Bruges, am I more concerned about representing Belgium in the World Cup?
Yeah, that's fair. I
or
mean,
the USA if my
fair
daddy-
question.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I just our soccer team takes one step forward, and it always seems like we take two more back. I
Yeah.
guess we made it to the final, got whooped last night 2-1 by the Mexicans. So
Yeah, they had a 16-year-old starting for the Mexicans too.
yeah, and he's a
16?
stud.
16.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
that was really
badass.
impressive.
A badass. All right, tomorrow we're back at 10 a.m. I have a feeling Pearl Jam is going to come up tomorrow after this morning's news that I'm seeing come across my notification screen, which I've not been able to read up on yet. All right, that's it. We're done. We'll do this again. All we can do is do shows, man. I don't know if it makes any difference or not. Maybe it doesn't, but I love this show. I'm glad y'all watch it, and I'm happy to do it every day, even in times of trouble. And
Right.
that's clearly what
Well
we got
said.
going on now. And we're back in here tomorrow. Love y'all hard. Thanks, everybody. That's it.